enjoy traditional Wales in the beer tent, featuring live music, sign hoisting contests, and craft vendors, plus scenic sky rides. Oktoberfest at Wachusett ski area this weekend. Get tickets at Wachusett.com. People were murdering each other.
Like a Stephen Colbert video with a bunch of dancing syringes. And I know that if I were unbacked, the first thing that I would do after seeing this is think, oh yeah, what I totally need is a bunch of men in syringe outfits wearing short skirts sashaying around. And that makes me want to back. It makes me want to gouge out my eyes with a spoon, but it doesn't really make me want to back very much. But here is Stephen Colbert being super duper duper funny. Okay, if you can't see this, they're men wearing lipstick and twist skirts dancing. There's some women as well. He's now dancing with an older woman. That was supposed to be funny in some way. I'm not sure what the way was supposed to be. If you're in the audience, what would you do? Like, seriously, would you clap? Would you laugh? Would you think this was hilarious? It's so strange. It's like a secular revival meeting over there. So the secular revival meeting that you read I Am Jazz as your liturgy, and you do weird tequila versions of that scene. That's not even a good artistic choice, right? Like, tequila has 3 syllables. Vaccine has 2. That doesn't even make sense. And then you dance around, and then what? You throw some drugs in the little charity plate that's going on. It's so odd. So odd. But this is what happens when comedy becomes completely subjected to politics. Completely and totally. Right? So I'm a political host. Sometimes there are funny things on the show, but I'm not primarily a guy who's there for the humor. I'm there primarily for the values and the politics. Stephen Colbert is supposed to be the opposite. There should be a fairly large distinction between what Stephen Colbert does and what I do. But that distinction has been completely eroded at this point, which is why you see Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, and Samantha Bee, who's officially the least funny person on planet Earth. Right? In terms of, like, list of least funny people on planet Earth, it goes like Samantha Bee, many slots below leadership of the Taliban, and then like 1 slot below that in terms of not funny is Stephen Colbert. I don't know when Stephen Colbert also thought that dancing was a thing. Like, this is the second video in a month that we've seen of Stephen Colbert dancing under inappropriate circumstances. You'll recall that Stephen Colbert was also dancing with Chuck Schumer as people were stuck in Afghanistan behind enemy lines with the Taliban. Like at the Celebrate New York event right before they shut down the city of New York again. And when comedy dies, things are pretty grim. Well, comedy is a society's way of boundary pushing. Comedy is society's way of questioning line and accepted wisdom. When comedy starts to be mainly about just reinforcing the accepted wisdom, it's not comedy anymore. Comedy is shocking. Comedy is taboo creating and taboo violating. This is why the funniest comedians you've ever seen are people who say things that you're not supposed to say. The funniest comedy routines you ever see are people telling stories that you wouldn't tell in public in polite conversation. That's why comedians are professionals in what they do. They literally get paid to violate taboos and cross lines. When a comedian becomes a tool of an administration and just starts repeating verbatim TVC talking points and adding the house band playing tequila underneath, that's no longer anything remotely approaching comedy. Now it is just a propaganda video that you're supposed to sort of grin along at, maybe? I just wonder, like, do Democrats even find this stuff funny? I know Democrats love Stephen Colbert because he agrees with all of their perspectives. That's fine, he's a political actor, but do you actually find it funny? Like, that's the question I have. There are many right-wing comedians, by the way, who I don't find funny. There are many people on the right who I think are not funny because they're not saying things that are interesting or incisive or taboo. They're just kind of blurting things. But Stephen Colbert, like, does he do the same thing for you on the left? And why is it so monolithic? Why is it that there's not one late-night comedian who even attempts a shred of objectivity when it comes to politics? Like, they just won't make jokes about one side. When Barack Obama was president, there was nothing to say. And now that Biden is president, there's nothing to say. And so they have to mock what exactly? Who, the idiots who don't like their show? Amazing stuff. This is the Ben Shapiro Show.
WEAN-FM Wakefield Baysdale from the Paul Massey Family of Dealership Studios. This is WPRO, Providence, a Cumulus station.
From ABC News. vote tonight on part of President Biden's Build Back Better plan, the more than $1 trillion bill to overhaul traditional infrastructure. But some members in the president's own party say it's all or nothing.
Biden's entire domestic agenda hanging in the balance. Speaker Nancy Pelosi declaring the House plans to vote tonight on the president's bipartisan $1 trillion infrastructure bill. Progressives insist a vote tonight will fail, that they will reject the bill unless the House and Senate first pass a separate, massive $3.5 trillion package.
ABC's Rachel Scott at the Capitol. A government shutdown which would have taken a